There are corners of Ireland where the world hasn't quite caught up. Where the kettle is always on, where neighbours know your name before you do, and where the pace of life is set by the seasons, not by the clock. Today, we're taking you down the back roads to 15 of them. Let's start in West Cork, in the village of Eyeries. Painted in colours so bright they look stolen from a child's paint box, this little place sits on the Beara Peninsula, looking out at mountains that fall straight into the Atlantic. There's one shop, 2 pubs, and a community that still gathers for a sing-song on Friday nights. Nobody locks their doors during the day, and nobody seems to mind. The bread van comes on Tuesdays, the fish man on Fridays, and that's about as much hurry as the place can stand. Up in County Mayo, you'll find Cong, a village so timeless they filmed The Quiet Man here back in the 50s. But forget the tourist version. Walk the back lanes early in the morning, before the coach tours arrive, and you'll see what makes it special. Stone bridges over clear water, an old monastery half hidden by ivy, and farmers still bringing their cattle along the road as if nothing had changed in 200 years. The river runs through the village like a thread of silver, and the trout in it have heard every story ever told. Then there's Kilfenora in County Clare. Population just over 200, but it has its own ceilidh band, its own cathedral, and a tradition of music that has been passed down through fingers and lungs for generations. Sit in Vaughan's pub on a Sunday night and you'll hear tunes that were old when your grandfather was young. The young ones still learn them. The old ones still teach them. That, my friends, is how a village stays alive when everywhere else seems to forget. Number 4 takes us to County Donegal, to the village of Glencolmcille. Tucked into a valley so green it almost glows, this is a place that holds onto its Irish language as if it were a family heirloom. The school children learn through Irish, the shopkeepers chat in Irish, and the wind off the cliffs carries a sound that feels older than memory. There's a folk village here where you can see how people lived 100 years ago, but step outside the gates and you'll find folk still living much the same way. In County Kerry, the village of Sneem sits between mountains and sea, split in two by a bubbling river. There are 2 village squares, painted houses lined up like sweets in a jar, and an old stone bridge where children still play. Time runs slower here. People stop to talk. The post office is also a hardware shop, a grocery, and the local gossip exchange. You can't pop in for a stamp without hearing 3 pieces of news and 1 solid opinion on the weather. Number 6 is Inistioge in County Kilkenny. A tree-lined square, a 10-arched bridge over the River Nori, and a hill behind covered in beech and oak. This is a village that looks like a painting, but it's the people that make it live. They run a community garden, hold storytelling nights in the church hall, and welcome newcomers with curiosity rather than suspicion. The river is full of trout, the woods are full of deer, and the pub is full of decent souls who have all the time in the world for a yarn. In County Wicklow, Roundwood claims to be the highest village in Ireland. The air feels cleaner up here, the views stretch for miles, and the local pub serves a stew that has converted many a skeptic. There's a Sunday market that has been running for over 40 years, where you can still buy honey from the man who keeps the bees, and brown bread from the woman who baked it that very morning. Number 8 takes us to Clonbur in County Galway, sitting between 2 of Ireland's biggest lakes. The fishing is good, the walking is better, and the welcome is warmer than the turf fire in the pub. It's the sort of place where a stranger becomes a regular after 1 visit, and a regular becomes family after 2. The mountain behind the village is called Mount Gable, and from the top you can see half of Connemara on a clear day, with the lakes shining like dropped coins. Adare in County Limerick is sometimes called the prettiest village in Ireland. Thatched cottages, a medieval friary, and a main street that has barely changed in 100 years. Yes, it gets visitors, but live there a while and you'll find the locals are the same as anywhere else in rural Ireland. Decent, patient, and quietly proud of where they're from. The hurling team is taken very seriously indeed. The pints are pulled with care, and the conversation is given the same attention. Number 10 is Allihies, perched at the very end of the Beara Peninsula in West Cork. Once a copper mining village, now a place where artists, fishermen, and farmers live side by side. The sunsets here are something you remember on your deathbed. The pints last longer. The conversations stretch into the small hours. There's a coastal walk past the old mine ruins, where wind whistles through stone chimneys built by men long gone. In County Tipperary, the village of Terryglass sits on the shore of Loch Derg. The pubs serve food that locals actually eat, not tourist menus. The harbour is small but busy with boats and ducks and children dangling fishing lines into the water. There's a sense here that nothing important has been lost. The same families have been farming the same fields for generations, and they intend to keep on doing so for many more. Number 12 is Dunlewey in County Donegal, sitting at the foot of Mount Errigal, with the dark waters of the loch reflecting the mountain like a mirror. The ruined church on the shore looks like something out of a dream. The people here farm sheep, weave tweed, and tell stories that have been polished by 100 winters. The sky is bigger up here. You can see weather coming for an hour before it arrives, rolling in over the mountain like a slow grey blanket. In County Waterford, the village of Ardmore is built around a round tower over 1,000 years old. The cliff walk is one of the finest in Ireland, and the village itself has held onto a rhythm that bigger places have forgotten. The bread is baked locally. The fish is caught locally. The gossip travels faster than the internet, and is usually more reliable. The graveyard by the sea is worth a quiet hour all on its own. Number 14 is Leenane in County Galway, set at the head of Kilkenny Fjord. Mountains rise on every side, dark and serious. The village is small, just a handful of buildings, but the welcome in the local hotel will warm you up after a day's walking. This is a place where you remember what silence sounds like. At night the stars come out so thick you can hardly find the spaces between them, and the only sound is the sea breathing in and out. And finally, number 15, the village of Doolin in County Clare. Famous for its music, yes, but it's the daytime Doolin that holds the magic. Walk to the cliffs in the early morning. Sit on a wall and watch the Atlantic do its slow, eternal work. Drop into a kitchen at the back of someone's house and find 5 musicians playing for the pure joy of it, with no audience but the dog by the fire and a kettle on the boil. These 15 villages are not frozen in the past. People here have smartphones and supermarkets and the same worries as anyone else. But they have managed to hold on to something that the modern world keeps trying to take. A pace. A patience. A sense that you belong to somewhere, and that somewhere belongs to you in return. If you're tired of being a stranger in your own town, of rushing through days that all look the same, perhaps it's worth taking a drive down one of these back roads. Roll the window down. Wave at the old man on the bench. Stop at the pub and order whatever the locals are having. You might not stay forever, but you'll leave with something you didn't know you'd lost. Thanks for watching. If you liked this little tour, give the video a thumbs up, and tell me in the comments which village called to you the most. Subscribe for more journeys down the back roads of this old country. Take care of yourselves out there, and mind the road on the way home.